Okay, you remember the Richter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it just sees the amount of how explosive was the earthquake, so it measures how much power it had.
Mm-hmm.
So if it was, so like it said on the book, it said if it's like 3.0, no one notices it was literally under. But if it was like 5.0, it said that it would cause damage. But at 7.0, then it would cause so much damage that a lot of people could get killed.
Can you tell me about the Earth's crust and how earthquakes occur?
So the crust under the mantle, like right there, they just shiver around. Like, okay, they used to be together, but then while somewhere in the crust and the mantle, they start to separate and separate. Like it looks like they're put like a huge person is pushing it out of their space, try to put something else, but that's not what's happening. They're just pushing it in, leaving a whole gap in the space.
Okay. And you already answered that question. All right. So, talk about faults and why they are important.
Fault.
Mm-hmm. You can use the book.
Okay. Okay, I was about to say the fault. Oh no, wait a second. So this is where I got the information of yours.
Mm-hmm.
But then, oh, here it is. What is a fault?
Mm-hmm.
It's when plate movements can cause Earth's crust to crack. So that's when it's kind of like when, like you've seen it in movies, right? Earthquakes normally occur, and they just break together in the crack.
And why is the fault important?
Well, the fault is important mostly to well, the fault mostly well, the fault is not very useful sometimes, but it is for a certain reason. But I'm sure that.
Okay. Why is it so hard to help people avoid the dangers of earthquakes?
Because you really can't tell when is it going to happen. It just happens in moments that is unexpected times.
What do scientists need to discover about earthquakes?
They need to know how do they start and try to figure out, try to conclude a time that it might happen so they can warn the people that there might be one so they can evacuate the buildings.
So what could be a message of this story?
The message of the story to inform you try to inform you to be careful with earthquakes and mostly try to avoid them at all costs.
What do these messages mean to you in your own life?
In my own life, I'm glad that they did these messages because then I can try to, when I grow up, I might be a scientist one day. Or I could be an engineer and try to make a robot that could try to produce a time that an earthquake can occur.
So people can be warned?
Yes.
What is the genre of this book?
The genre is nonfiction.
And how do you know?
Because it's giving us information of how earthquakes become, and they're talking about scientists, and scientists are a real life thing, so we can tell.
How does the writer organize the information in this book?
The information, it goes into different type, it gives you an order of operation. It tells you how does right here it tells you what people do, whatever, and then it tells you how does it occur or what level. Then on the next, it tells you about what was the biggest of that certain object.
Okay. How are the graphics in this book helpful?
They can show you what they mean about the story. So if they tell you something right here and you might not understand it, they can show you a picture and it gives you like some words to describe how would that work.
Okay. What does the writer do to keep you interested?
Try to give me some important details and try to give me exciting details to keep letting me read. Like, I love nonfiction, so this actually interests me. So
Okay.
I am, I
Can
like
you
this book.
show me an example of some of the words that the writer used to capture your attention?
Yes, the numbers and dates. So 19, I love numbers, so, and I like scientists. I like science. So why not just read about something that's nonfiction?
Okay.
You get to learn something.
All right. That's it.
Okay.
You can go back to your seat. Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome.
Okay.
My leg went to sleep.
So, I use the prompts, the question prompts. Sometimes I have to look at the information to prompt students for more information without giving them the answers, because sometimes they just don't know where they need to go with it. And if they answer it mostly completely, I just put a check by it instead of trying to write out the answers. It's quicker that way. So again, I did the same thing down here. I just checked if they answered that part. He did have an X here, but for the most part, he still answered all of those questions correctly. So I would still give him a 3 for comprehension for beyond the text. And then again, over here, I just read the question. If he answered it mostly completely or had an answer that was really close to what the answer looked like, I just put a check beside it, and then I decide what the comprehension is, whether it's a 0, a 1, or 2, or a 3. And he's proficient. I did notice that while he was reading quite fast, and so maybe if he would have slowed down just a little bit, then he would have captured some of the details that he missed in the questioning. So I might talk about that with him and give him some pointers about reading a little slower, having good fluencies, not just reading with accuracy, but also reading at a good speed so that you can understand and comprehend what you're reading. And that's pretty much it. After that, you're done. I would say this is definitely his independent level. So I might pull a level up during instructional time for him, and he could even read probably a level up in his independent reading time.